Hey guys, what up? It's TJT from Atomagazi Wrestling here to give you my take on WrestleMania 33. And specifically, I think there's one giant, big elephant in the room. So this is more so going to be a quick thoughts and recap of WrestleMania as a whole, and then kind of focusing in on some of the bigger aspects, and then that one really big, obvious aspect at the end. So my thoughts on WrestleMania 33 are basically most people's thoughts on WrestleMania 33 if they were willing to go into it objectively, if they were willing to watch as fans. And that is that WrestleMania 33 was one of the better WrestleManias that we've had in recent memory. The card was indeed stacked. Maybe not the matches that we would have wanted to see, but the execution of a lot of the matches, the fact that we still got surprises, the fact that most of the matches delivered in terms of being, whether they were exciting or whether the in-ring talent was just on point. You know, of course, it's WrestleMania Sunday. I thought WrestleMania 33, from top to bottom, was actually pretty good. Definitely better than last year's. I don't know how it stacks up against WrestleMania 31, though. That has to. I probably would have to watch those kind of back to back and really look at those because WrestleMania 31 was a pretty good one. But I mean, I think the biggest things are obviously that hey, Brock is the champion now. We all knew that was going to happen. The match itself was, a little paint by numbers. It was fine. It was short. Didn't have to suffer through it that long. It's a return to form for Brock, who, for whatever reason, had to go out of form to come back into form, but whatever. That's fine. The Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton match, I thought it was a little rushed. It was a little too slow. The finish came out of nowhere, and I think the wrong person won. If they really, I don't know. I feel like maybe their roles should have been switched a little bit. Maybe Bray Wyatt was the one that should have won the Royal Rumble, and then Orton win the championship in the Chamber, and then that would have been a little bit better, and then you just have Orton retaining, because I don't know, I'd rather just wait and for a bigger moment and a bigger coronation and a longer reign for Wyatt to be WWE champion, because it felt like such a transitional champion, and the belt changing hands, so much between, Styles to Cena to Wyatt to now Orton. It just felt really indecisive when you look at it big picture. It's like, well, why did you take the belt off Styles in the first place? Well, why did you put it on Wyatt in the first place? Why not just have Styles go in the Chamber and then drop it to Orton, especially if Orton's going to come out of WrestleMania with it anyway? I don't know. That's just my opinion. Of course, one of the greatest moments of WrestleMania 33 was the Hardys returning finally. Still a little bit broken, but also kind of being their usual Hardy selves. That's going to be a little bit tricky until the stuff with TNA dies down or boils over or finishes or whatever it's going to do. And that, you got to just kind of deal with that as it is. As far as the women's matches, I thought the Fatal 4-Way elimination for the Raw Women's Championship was pretty well done, if not for, a few botched spots. Like, clearly the turnbuckle wasn't exposed, and you kind of just gotta, suspend your disbelief even more. And the way Sasha was eliminated was kind of weird, and why did it come down to Charlotte and Bayley? We've already seen this. Wouldn't it make more sense for it to come down to Sasha and Bayley? And I don't know. But as far as the in-ring stuff goes and the storytelling, a lot of it was really spot on. Charlotte is such the MVP of this women's division, especially the Raw women's division. She's always on. She's always a delight to see. She's always a highlight. I think her character is really, really on point right now. But I'm also kind of glad she's taking a little bit of a break from the championship. She doesn't need to be a 5-time champion right now. Nia Jax held her own really well. She didn't look out of place. She looked like a legit threat. So that was good. As far as the SmackDown Women's Championship, it really felt rushed. It really felt like, look at all the women we have and don't know what to do with. I mean, I don't know what I would have preferred. But it just did feel a little bit cobbled together and rushed, and it was the breather / piss break match between two main events, and so that kind of hurt a little bit. Glad Naomi's the champion. Let's just hope she stays safe and stays healthy. What goes on from here, I don't know. There's the Superstar shakeup on Monday. We'll see what happens and who goes where. I think after the Superstar shakeup, which is not a draft, which why don't they just do a draft? But I don't know. After the shakeup, I think depending on who goes to SmackDown or if she goes to Raw or whatever be the case, I think then we'll kind of have a little bit of a better idea of where they're going with this. But for now, I'm fine. I'm fine with Naomi being champion. I would like to see Natalya eventually get her time, but that's whatever. It's what it is what it is. And then of course we have Rollins Triple H. I personally thought it was a really well executed match. It was great storytelling. There was great action. You kind of did think for a moment, okay, maybe Triple H will win this match because he can't lose every match, and it would kind of make storyline sense for Triple H to win here because Seth is so hurt and it's kind of a borderline legit kayfabe injury. They could get away with it. It wouldn't be seen as a burial. It would just be seen as a continuation of the feud, especially if you involve like Samoa Joe, if you involve Kevin Owens or something like that. Maybe Finn returns to help Seth after the match, so we kind of forget about the fact that he took a loss. I don't know. Regardless, the match turned out fine to me. I thought it was great. It was a little bit, what we expected. There weren't a lot of unpredictable moments in terms of this is basically what you get when you put Seth Rollins versus Triple H and you play up the injury angle. That is kind of the match that I think we all expected it to be. It was nice that Steph took a bump and got some comeuppance. So overall, I like that one. Let's see. Kind of bummed that the SmackDown Live titles were left off the show, but hey, whatever. U.S. match was fine. The right man won. I think he won the right way. IC title match was bumped to the pre-show. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see the pre-show. And I have yet to go back and watch WrestleMania 33. That means I also missed I only caught the latter half of Shane versus AJ, and apparently that was a match of the year candidate or whatever. So now I have to go back and watch it from the beginning to make sure, okay, maybe I missed something. But now I don't think we can put it off any longer. We gotta talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about The Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. Now, I want to bring up something really quick that I think a lot of people are glancing over, or they're making assumptions or what have you. They're I think this match has been misrepresented because everyone's pissing and moaning about, oh, Roman Reigns retired The Undertaker. Roman Reigns retired The Undertaker. He doesn't need the rub of retiring The Undertaker. That should have gone to somebody else. Somebody else should have retired The Undertaker. Roman Reigns did not retire The Undertaker. Roman Reigns was the last man, assumedly, to face The Undertaker, and now The Undertaker, again, assumedly, has chosen to retire after this match. The retirement stipulation was not on this match. That's why it's not really... I think, ultimately, that's why Roman Reigns didn't go full heel, because it wasn't a retirement match. It was just a match. It was just another match. It was just Roman Reigns taking on Undertaker at WrestleMania. It just so happens that after the match, it looks like Undertaker's retiring. So I think that's a very important distinction because, Undertaker retired Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels retired Ric Flair. These are matches that are like, yes, no, legitimately, they retired them. They're done because of this person and because of the stipulation. Roman Reigns just went in to have a match. Okay, so I think we can kind of take that little stigma off it. With that said, I'm going to go into this match and talk about this match completely honestly, because that's my whole thing. I look at wrestling objectively. I praise what needs to be praised. I take a crap on what needs to be taken a crap on. So here we go. The match sucked. I in my opinion, I think the match was terrible. It was awful. It was slow. It was lumbering. It was, again, a little paint by numbers. The no holds barred stipulation was just slapped on the last minute. It felt so bad. The way that match went, it should not have closed such an awesome WrestleMania. It was terrible. It was awful. But again, being fair, you cannot blame Roman Reigns for that match. You have to blame both guys. It takes two to tango. You can take one look at Undertaker and know that this should have been his last WrestleMania. He was not in shape. He was not in shape at the Royal Rumble. He has not been in shape. The guts hanging over his slacks. He's slow. He's gassed a little bit. It's not going to especially, you look at the big botch of the match when Roman Reigns tries to reverse the tombstone, assumedly into another tombstone of his own. That move is kind of botched by Undertaker, and then Reigns can't save it. And then he tries to do it again, and just, no, it's not going to happen. And Reigns, to be fair, came out of it really well. Just, okay, go for the Superman punch. Boom. There wasn't a lot of hesitation. There wasn't a lot of look of confusion before the Superman punch. There was a little bit afterwards, but you can't really help that. You do kind of have to go, okay, wait, okay, what do we do now? So you can't really help that. That's fine. I get it. But yeah, in terms of I don't think anyone should have gone into this match thinking it was going to be 5 stars, thinking it was going to be a technical marvel or a masterpiece. Roman Reigns is still technically a kind of a newer guy. He's still relatively new. He can't be a ring general yet. And you know what? It's not fair to say that the match would have gone different with Braun Strowman or with Seth Rollins or with Kevin Owens or with Samoa Joe or even John Cena. Who knows? The match probably maybe even wouldn't have, been much better with John Cena. We don't know. But I do know this. A lot of people are saying, well, it should have been Cena and not Reigns. I disagree. Because again, you think about who needs the rub as the last guy to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and okay, presumably has, quote, retired The Undertaker. Cena doesn't need it. He doesn't. He does not need that, especially with all the fantasy booking leading up to WrestleMania 33 and people going it should be a retirement match between Cena and Undertaker. This is where Cena can finally turn heel. Could you imagine the heat if he retires The Undertaker? No. Cena doesn't need that. Cena has a long list of accolades, and he does not need the additional accolade of retiring The Undertaker. He does not. Honestly, yeah, it would get him nuclear level heat, but again, he doesn't need it. Roman Reigns can actually benefit from this, and this is why a lot of people, again, bitched and moaned when Brock was the one that broke the streak, because a lot of people went, well, why does he need it? He doesn't need this rub. He doesn't need this heat. No. Now you look at a guy like Roman Reigns who very clearly could use this heat. Now we're going into a very interesting direction here. going forward, and how they handle Reigns and how Reigns develops as a character. Does he shy away from the whole retiring The Undertaker thing? Does he embrace it? Does he become a full-fledged heel? Does he use this to soldier on and stay a face, or at least a tweener? We don't know. I think his promo on Monday Night Raw was perfect, because it's not a heel turn. It's a tweener move. And I think that is the nice little sweet spot for Reigns right now, at least. Because, again, I've always been a proponent of don't turn someone if you don't have a plan. And I think that's why they haven't turned Reigns, in addition to, merch sales and business type of stuff. Is because, yeah, everyone wants Reigns to turn, but then what? You have to have a legitimate plan once you turn Reigns heel. So everyone wants Reigns to turn heel, but then what? Then, assumedly, he goes on to win the Universal Championship. Do you really want that? No, you don't. So why do you want Reigns to turn heel? I don't know. I stand by my idea of I think Reigns should turn heel and then team up with the Usos. Again, the Superstar Shakeup's coming up. The Usos could come over to Raw, or Reigns could go to SmackDown, most likely. If anything, I don't know. But, if Reigns turns heel, then maybe start a new faction, become dominant that way. That way you don't need a title run necessarily, or that comes much, much, much later down the line. But, the obvious thing that comes out of a Reigns heel turn is that people will inevitably start cheering him, because it's what they want. That's why WWE, again, additionally to merch sales and stuff, that's why they haven't turned him heel, because they know as soon as they do, you're going to cheer him. So what's the point? To address what Triple H said a while back, in the whole, Reigns is already a heel because we boo him, I don't fully agree with his statement, but on that specific level, I do agree. Because that is the catch-22 of turning Reigns heel. It is finally letting him become a fully fledged character, a character we think he could do really well in. But it's also kind of giving fans what they want, and I know what you're saying, but it's giving them what they want, so they're gonna cheer for it. And when you turn heel, you can't cheer. So that's the thing. So that's, I think, why they are taking the stance of, well, he's already a heel. We don't have to do anything because you're already booing him. So, if the purpose of being a heel is to get booed, well, then you don't need to have some big thing that turns him heel now, because he's already a heel. If anything, you need something to get people to cheer for him. And, I don't know what that's going to be. But going back to the match, the match was a stinker. And it was a really bummy way to end WrestleMania 33. However, and I will say this, the storytelling was really great towards the end of that match. And even after the match, the storytelling was perfect. Excuse me, it was pitch perfect. Roman, if you're going to give Roman compliments on anything, you have to give it on his storytelling and his selling of moments, if not moves. Because I personally think he sells moves, but I know a lot of people think he doesn't. So fine, whatever, that's your opinion. But Roman Reigns sells moments, and that he's a storytelling wrestler, just like how Triple H was a storytelling wrestler. Just like how Undertaker is a huge storytelling wrestler. Their matches are not going to be technical marvels. That's not what they're here for. Not everyone can be a Seth Rollins or a Finn Balor or a Kevin Owens or a Cesaro or a Dean Ambrose. They can't all have a million moves and, have counters for everything. And some people have to be storytelling wrestlers. Some people have to be giants. Some people have to be cruiserweights. Some people have to be high flyers. Some people, have to be forever heels. Some people are kind of forever faces. And, that diversity is ultimately what makes WWE so great. So, with that said, I think Reigns is a great storytelling wrestler, and he did his part in this match when it came to that regard. And then so did Undertaker. So, if you're looking at this match in terms of an in-ring quality, it sucks. Like, it's not just bad. It's not just, oh, well, no. This match is terrible when it's compared to like in-ring work. But in terms of storytelling quality, I think that's where this match succeeds. And really, that's the most important part when you're dealing with The Undertaker. And when you're dealing with, the last match of The Undertaker and the consequences of that. Because now, I think they played the ending of this match perfectly. Reigns clearly didn't want to end The Undertaker's career. Reigns clearly, had mixed feelings about beating The Undertaker in the main event of Wrestlemania, but he also is a warrior. He also has a job to do. He also wants to win. Clearly, he's a competitor. So, and you can see the dilemma on his face the whole last few minutes of that match and the frustration. Could it have been done better? Of course it could have been done better, but for what it was, I thought it was really done well. I thought the celebration with the fireworks was also done very well, because it wasn't really him celebrating. It was him it was sort of him sticking the fork in it, raising his fist. Okay, it's done. It's done. And I'm out of here. Because that really, first off, it doesn't match Reigns' character to truly celebrate. But then on top of that, given the weight and the significance of this match, it would be a sort of an acknowledgement that, okay, I won, it's over, and now I'm going to the back because I can't deal with this. I thought it was really well done. Of course, the stuff after the match with The Undertaker was amazing. I don't really need to say anything about that. Undertaker's a legend. To have the privilege to see what may be his last match live is, it's really, it's really special. But, we don't know if it's his last match. If anything, and that's what I love about the way this ended and the path that they could be going on. Because you got to think about where they go from here, especially with the promo on Monday. If this is the start of a year-long program, then think about how genius WWE is going to be for this. Because you got to think about, nobody, we are assuming that Undertaker has retired. And we're rightfully so. It's a fair assumption. Then again, there was no, real, big pomp and circumstance that WWE kind of always does for retirements, which maybe makes me think in the back of my mind, okay, maybe they are leading to something, which, Roman Reigns had mixed feelings ending the match the way he ended it. He had mixed feelings going up the ramp and celebrating. He had mixed feelings going to the back. Monday comes around, he's getting booed, he's getting just completely harassed by this raucous post-WrestleMania crowd. He knows going forward, he's just going to, no matter what he's going to do, he's always going to be the villain in their eyes. So he decides to own it. And this could start a slow burn, official, quote-unquote, heel turn, which then, if booked right, could then lead to a possible rematch at next year's WrestleMania, should they want to do it. Should Undertaker be in good enough shape to do it? And then, who knows? Maybe then Undertaker gets his revenge, pins Roman Reigns, gives a proper heel Roman Reigns his comeuppance after a year of, getting heat and dominating and all this stuff. And if it's booked well enough, it'll be amazing. It'll be cathartic. And it'll be a much better send-off than this match. Because, I don't know, there's a part of me that does think, even if it's not technically sound, there's a part of me that does think there is a much better match between Undertaker and Roman Reigns. But just where Undertaker was, as far as his health, for this match, there was never going to be that. So maybe, I don't know. Would I want to see a rematch? I have mixed feelings about it. It depends on how they handle it. And given WWE's track record recently, I don't have a lot of faith that they would. But Vince McMahon always has a rabbit in the hat. He always has a trick up his sleeve. Who knows? There is a part of me that thinks it's a little bit far-fetched and that this could be the last match. And it kind of sucks because the match definitely sucked from an in-ring perspective. You know, we've seen 5-star match of the years put on by Taker. We've seen match of the year candidates put on by Reigns. So it's just a little bit disappointing. And, you know, if I'm Mark Calloway, I am thinking to myself going, maybe I should try one more time if I'm in better shape. But, you know, I'm not Mark Calloway. So it is what it is. How my life would be different if I was. So that's my thoughts on WrestleMania, more specifically Undertaker versus Roman Reigns for obvious reasons. I thought the show was really good from top to bottom, even with the way that it ended, even with the match, even, you know, with Undertaker supposedly retiring and leaving a bittersweet taste. I thought this was a really stacked, really well executed WrestleMania from top to bottom. I didn't care about Pitbull. I didn't think that was terrible, awful, completely derailed the entire show like some people are saying. I thought it was, you know, a given. I thought it was a mandatory, obligatory, like, yeah, okay, it's a concert, fine, whatever, have your fun, Vince. And then, yeah, it was short and sweet, and we got back to the action. That's fine. I also thought Triple H's entrance was silly. And I thought Rollins was actually one-upped him a little bit. And I was like, uh-oh, okay. Seth always has some, like, nice attires that I don't think I'm going to like, and then they grow on me while he's doing the match. Because I had mixed feelings about his white attire, too, when he unveiled it at SummerSlam 15. And I was just like, what is this white mess that he's got? And then it grew on me. It grew on me eventually. I also kind of had mixed feelings about his, like, bright neon green attire at SummerSlam. And then I think that kind of grew on me. So, and the same thing with the Kingslayer, Jaime Lannister inspired outfit. I thought that was really well done. But yeah, that's my thoughts on WrestleMania. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video if you enjoyed it. It helps us out a lot over here. As far as what comes next for Atamagazi, I'm not quite sure. Things in the personal life are kind of all over the place at the moment, but I will try every now and again to try and get these, even if it's just like podcast stuff like this. I will try my best to have something out every now and again. But I'll catch you guys next time.